Hello, folks. This is Lindsey Huddleston again with Sports Psychology Solutions and the Youth Sport Coalition. If you look, I'm in a familiar place, University of Detroit, with a face that may be new to some, very familiar to others who've been around the basketball game. I got Coach Mike Davis here after a great first season here at University of Detroit. Was great enough to sit down at the Horatio Williams Foundation program earlier in the week and shared so much knowledge and so much wisdom, and has been gracious enough to allow me to come into the hallowed Callahan Hall to talk a little bit more. So, Coach, I appreciate you making time and being here. But you say it's not hard to find you. This is where you're at in the gym.
All the time.
All the time. Coach, you were really great along with all those other coaches that sat on the panel earlier in the week talking about things. And I can't help but laugh when how Coach Izzo tried to work your son into a scholarship opportunity, whatever, whatnot. But I think it's something to be said about the work you're doing, the work you've been doing. When we talk about your history, Indiana, UAB, and Texas Southern. Now, here you are in Detroit. So what has been your impression of Detroit before coming here, and what's your impression now, Coach?
Well, Detroit's always been a basketball city. I recruited here when I was in Indiana. Some really good players. If you follow the history of Detroit basketball, there's Michigan period. There's a lot of guys that played in the NBA.
So it was always good to come in. You know, one thing that really struck me about our conversation, the theme the other night was the relationships and how important that is. You have a very close-knit staff. Probably you do something different than most. You keep your guys, whether they go or come back. You know, your staff can always kind of be with the Davis family for the most part.
Well, you call it a family, and so when a guy go off on his own and try to go to a higher level, you wish him luck, and if it works out for him, great. If it doesn't, then they always have a home to come back to.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So one other thing that struck me the most that I said it would really be good to talk to you about as I try to reach out to young people going on is the development that takes place in any kind of Mike Davis program. Can you talk about that a little bit more?
Well, I've done my research, and I heard this famous person talk about everybody's entitled to their opinion, but you're not entitled to the facts. And so as I've done my research throughout the years, especially working with my son for the last 5 or 6 years, what I come to understand is it's not about passion. It's about knowing what you're good at and never overlooking the technique of anything, because I can have a passion for something and not be very good at it. And so let's say if I have a passion for dance and I'm a good dancer, but I'm only a good dancer in my house in front of my family members. So when I go out to try to open up a dance studio, I'll be a professional dancer, then I'm not very good. So just because I have a passion for it doesn't mean that's what I should be doing. And you should be doing what you're really good at, and you should do it the right way. I tell this story all the time about my younger boy, son Antoine. He just fell in love with basketball this year.
Wow.
And so, but what I did through my research is all about working the right way. It's all about having an intense focus while you're working, and you can't stay in that zone for about 20 or 30 minutes. That's a long time to stay in the zone.
Right.
Doing things the right way. So you get better through reps. You have to embrace the repetition that you do. You have to understand struggle. You have to understand failure. You have to understand effort, and you have to understand a mindset that you control your own abilities. And so by thinking that and understanding that part of it, the more you work the right way, the better chance you have of mastering your skill set.
Wow, Coach, you said a lot in that, a lot of things that resonated with me personally, as well as when I look at these young people, being able to understand struggle. You know, in this selfie generation, if a kid don't like the first picture, he can take another one. So a lot of them don't have to push through the struggle. With your basketball history, from all the places you've been and played and dealing with this generation of athletes, how hard is it sometimes to help student athletes understand the struggle part?
It's very difficult because the parents don't understand it. And when the parents don't understand it, how can the kid understand it? You walk out of a gym and let's say your son scored 1 point, if that's important to you. If you got 3 rebounds, that's important to you. If you only played 10 minutes, all those things are important to you, then you're never going to understand the struggle. And the struggle is about, if I didn't play well today, if I didn't play today, so I got to get back in the gym and work. It's all about the effort and work that you put in. And so there's a lot of people, and I say this, and I don't say it in a negative way, but there's a lot of people who's not qualified to even talk to people about certain things.
Wow.
You know, because they don't know what to talk about, or the question to ask them. When you're dealing with struggle, you have to understand the process and not the outcome. And most people talk to kids and speak to people on an outcome basis. And when you speak about the outcome basis, you're always going to be disappointed if you didn't get to, let's say, the first question the person asks after every game mostly is, how many points you scored?
How many points you scored?
You know?
Right.
And so the kid instantly think points are important. And so if I scored 25 points, and I know that's the first question you're going to ask me, I'm excited to see you, and I'm excited for you to ask me that question. But if I've only scored 2 points, then I'm not excited to see you, and I feel like I failed. And you may have had your best game. And so there's 3 questions you always should ask a person. Is what did you do well? Is one of them, and let them explain to you what they did well. And most people can't explain to you what they did well because they've never been asked that question before. The question they always been asked is, how many rebounds did you win? And all those are outcome questions. And the next question is, what did you learn? You know, and so can they explain to you what they learned throughout the course of it? And again, that's another process type of question. And the third and final thing is what you're going to do about it. So what did you do well? What did you learn? And then what are you going to do about the things that you got that did well and the things that you learned? And so all those are process type of questions. And when you ever can get a person mindset to that point, you have something special.
Wow.
Because when you're talking to great people that has greatness, their mindset is powerful.
Right.
And most people think it's muscle memory, but your muscles do what your mind tells you to do.
The body controls that.
Exactly. It's your mind. It's not memory. Because if it was memory, then I could always do something the same way all the time.
Right.
But your mind has to be able to help you to recover, to get back to where you were and where you're supposed to be. Because no matter how great you are, you're always going to go through struggles. If you look at the great players in today's game, I go all the way back, the LeBron James, the Kobe Bryant, the criticism that they get in front of the whole world, but yet they're able to come back and have great games.
Yeah, that rebound ability, they can bounce back.
Exactly, because their mindset. It's not muscle memory.
Right, you're right.
And so, again, you know, I do my research and I believe in facts, and I don't believe in emotional things when it comes to development, and you control your own ability, because the best players can recover quicker.
Yes, the best player. I see you can judge. Again, Coach, every time you get going, you drop some serious jewels. So going back to that process of what did you do well, you know, and those type of things, is that something you like to get your players to be at a point where they can almost anticipate that question from you and kind of work through that on their own, or is that something that just takes a little while to get to that point?
It takes a while with them because they've been programmed and their belief system is so ingrained in them over the years. Right. You know, I'll give you an example. I heard a coach say one time, Ray Allen, one of the best shooters ever played the game, and Ray went 2 for 18. So they had a team meeting, and the guy said, well, you know, Ray struggled last night shooting the ball, and Ray had this funny look on his face, and he said, Ray, why you look like that? You was 2 for 18 from the field. He said, I didn't struggle. I shot it great. It just didn't go in. And I thought about that statement, is that you can do something well and it not work out for you. But that don't mean that you should take on the struggle mentality because of your stats. Because your stats doesn't tell it all. If you shot it right. So then, to fast forward, I remember that, and as I was teaching Antoine about shooting, that you're going to have some nights that you don't shoot the ball. It doesn't go in, but did you shoot it well? Right. And it was an incident that I trained his mind and trained his brain to think that way. And so he went and played a game, an AAU game. He said, Dad, I shot it great. It just didn't go in. I'm not sure what his stats were. I said, just keep shooting it that way. Eventually, it'll go in. Next game, he had like 35, 40 points. Wow. So it's all about training your mind, training your brain, and don't depend on muscle memory. Because when you depend on muscle memory, you don't understand the true meaning of training your brain the right way.
Right. Coach, I'm really intrigued by what you're saying, and with a background in sports psychology consulting, not only do I see that being important for the student athlete, but also for the parent. So how do you go through the process of getting a parent to understand, or better yet, is there a certain profile of a parent who may be more apt to accept that and put that upon their student athlete to help you with your program going forward?
There is, if they truly understand it, but most parents don't, because most parents are so emotional with their kid that they want to protect them.
Right.
And we have to understand that the brain is designed to protect.
Mm-hmm.
And so
that's true.
In order to be able to understand it, you have to understand the effort and the struggle and the failure that you have to go through, and not focus on anything more than let's get back in the gym and get to work.
Right, that's important. Here we are again, folks. Lindsey Huddleston with Sports Psychology Solutions and the Youth Sport Coalition with Coach Mike Davis at University of Detroit. You're at a jewel school, the University of Detroit is nestled right in the community, but has a great alumni with what they do, some great things happening here. As you try to reach out to this community, to the Midwest and throughout the country, what are some things people need to know about what's happening here at the University of Detroit Mercy with your program going forward to help, raise the eyebrows in the right way?
Well, we're going to take on the reputation of the city of Detroit, and that's hard work, that's toughness. We're going to work like crazy. I'm here all the time in the gym. I expect for my players to be here all the time in the gym. Monday through Sunday, you take one day off, that's fine, but we're going to take on the character of Detroit. And the one thing that really jumped out to me more than anything is the love that they have for the city of Detroit, the people that is here. And there's so many people outside of Detroit that have no clue how wonderful this place is. I live downtown, and especially on a nice day, people are walking around like you could be in any major city. And Detroit is that. Even the cold, I embrace the cold. I take a cold shower every morning, and so it gives me energy. And when I walk out into the cold, I'm ready to go.
You're ready.
Roll, so my energy level is there. But this is a great program. My goal is to get it to the level that Gonzaga is on. But you have to change the culture. Everybody has to believe in the same things, and that's work.
Right. And a few more things before we wrap up, and I appreciate your time. How has your coaching methodology evolved over the time, from the different programs you've been at to just where you are, because you're quote unquote dealing with a different level of athlete? How has it evolved? In what way?
Well, they all want the same thing. When I used to coach at Texas Southern, I used to always say there are no swag jobs in the real world. You're going to compete against people from the Ivy League, the Big Ten, the SEC, the ACC. You're going to compete against people that never even went to college.
Right.
And so you have to be prepared. You have to have a skill set that fits where you are. Your behavior has to fit the scenery where you are. And so through all my research that I do, I read a lot. And I used to always think a mentor has to be somebody that you know personally. And mentor, there's so many mentors in books, it's unbelievable.
Right.
And so my mentor is the books that I read, and the knowledge and the information that I try to pass on to my players and to my coaching staff. And I say this, I said it the other night at the banquet that at the clinic, that people don't mind you being in love with something. They don't want you to be obsessed with it. And when you in love with it, they're okay with it. But when you're obsessed, they think you're crazy. But the most people that are very successful in greatness, it comes from obsession. But you have to be obsessed in the right way. And what I mean is you have to understand the true task that you're trying to accomplish, and you have to get with the right people, listen to the right people, and understand it. And even though you're going through things, never work according to how you feel. Work the way you're supposed to work, no matter what.
So going back to what you said about doing the right thing. Yeah. Well, Coach, I appreciate you taking the time. I'm really excited about what's happening here, and I'm going to sing from the mountaintops of the great things that's happening here at University of Detroit Mercy. I appreciate you sitting with us. With that, again, Lindsey Huddleston, Sports Psychology Solutions and the Youth Sport Coalition. Coach Mike Davis here doing great things at University of Detroit Mercy. Come support him at Callahan on throughout, and have a great season coming up. Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. Appreciate you too. We're good.
Appreciate you coming up.